औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। आज जो है बाबुल हवाइज मीडिया ने एक अच्छा से प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया है जो बच्चों के लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। वो आके हाउ टू प्रिपेयर फॉर योर एग्ज़ाम, जो बिलखुसूस जो SSLC एग्ज़ाम जो लिख रहे हैं मंडे से जो कमेंस हो रहा है, उनके लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि वो क्या तैयारी करना है और उनका माइंडसेट कैसे बनाना है, ताकि जो है जब बच्चा एक इम्तिहान को जाए जो है उसके थोड़े मारूज़ात हैं विच ही नीड टू एनालाइज and then he need to go for an exam. So certain points we need to discuss that are the factors which are very important for an exam. So some of the factors for preparing exams are एग्ज़ाम से जो पहले जाने से पहले उनका माइंडसेट कैसे होना चाहिए। तो उनके लिए 5 फैक्टर्स होना चाहिए। जो फर्स्ट हो गया थॉट, जो बच्चों का जो थॉट है वो देखना चाहिए कैसा है, क्योंकि पॉजिटिव है तो बच्चा जो है वो पॉजिटिविटी लेके अच्छा एग्ज़ाम लिख सकता है। वो नेगेटिविटी है तो वो घबरा जाता है और वो टेंशन में आ जाता है, जो जिसकी वजह से जो पढ़ा हुआ है वो भी भूलने की चांसेस है। इसीलिए जो है बच्चा जो है हम लोग जब तैयारी करते हैं तो बच्चे के लिए मोटिवेट करना है, पॉजिटिविटी को भरना है, ताकि जो है बच्चा जाके इम्तिहान पॉजिटिविटी में लिखे। और सेकेंड ये है कि जब पॉजिटिविटी है उसके लिए फीलिंग्स, सेकेंड ऑफ फीलिंग्स का मतलब ये है कि बच्चा जो आप मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं उसको बोलना है कि यू कैन अचीव इट, नथिंग इज़ इम्पॉसिबल। जब नथिंग इज़ इम्पॉसिबल है तो बच्चा एक पॉजिटिविटी माइंड पे जब जाएगा तो एग्जैक्टली he'll have that motivation and he'll write on the what he remember. Number third is action. Whatever he have the motivation, he need to convert that in action. Action का मतलब क्या है कि he need to study because he knows that what I prepared is important and it can be executable. तो जब क्या होता है he can able to action it. When he can able to action it, तो ultimate जो है वो practice में लेके आना है. That's the first step of habitat, where he need to analyze that what I have thought it in the first step and what I have been used for in practice perspective. तो ये है कि first step हो गया, last step है, ये पूरा मिला के the last step is your output. तो ये important है। जो 5 factors of your success is number 1 is thoughts, feelings, action, habits, and lastly and your output, what you have done for last 4, and you have lastly you have for output, which is very important for any students. Now, how to prepare for an exam? How to prepare for an exam? What are the steps you require for preparation of an exam? तो क्योंकि बहुत सारे जो बच्चे हैं वो सोचते रहते हैं कि मैं कैसे स्टार्ट करूं, कैसे एंड करूं, कैसे मैं इम्तिहान में प्रिपेयर कैसे करना है। तो फर्स्ट स्टेप आगे प्लानिंग। प्लानिंग का मतलब ये है कि फॉर एग्जांपल मैं प्लानिंग ऐसे करता हूँ टाइम टेबल के, सुबह में जो है आई गेट अप एंड आई रीड सम सब्जेक्ट्स चैप्टर वाइज मैं रिवाइज करता हूँ। बाद में आफ्टरनून में आई अगेन रिवाइज द चैप्टर वाइज क्वेश्चंस विद द क्वेश्चन बैंक एंड अगेन आई हैव मॉक एग्जाम इन द मॉर्निंग। तो ऐसा मॉक एग्जाम के बाद आई नीड टू एनालाइज माई सेल्फ वेयर आई स्टैंड अप। तो ये प्लानिंग होता है कि हाउ आई नीड टू ब्रेक डाउन टू माई सब्जेक्ट इन योर पार्ट्स, लाइक समराइजिंग माई चैप्टर्स, रिवाइजिंग द क्वेश्चंस, रिवाइजिंग माई क्वेश्चन पेपर एंड हैविंग द मॉक टेस्ट और मॉक एग्जाम। तो तब क्या करता है वो प्लानिंग जो एग्जीक्यूशन है वो टाइम उसको पता होता है मैं कितने दिन में क्या क्या प्रिपेयर करना है। स्टेप नंबर 2 इज टाइम मैनेजमेंट। अब ये सब करने के लिए यू नीड टू मैनेज योर टाइम, दैट यू शुड नॉट डाइवर्ट। फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू शुड नॉट हैव यूजलेस टाइम, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मोबाइल, using of the mobile, using of your gadgets or watching TV, whatever. You should not have distraction mind. You should be dedicated to yourself, as you know that you have an exam commencing on Monday. Okay. Number 3 is you should have self control. Self control का मतलब ये होता है कि I will not touch mobile in the sense I will not touch. I need to control myself so that I should have a conscious that if I touch I will waste my time. So वो चीज़ अपने आप को बिल्ड करना है कि उससे बोलते हैं सेल्फ कंट्रोल। When you have a self control capacity, then you can achieve lot of things. Why? Because what you wanted to do, it will be there in your mind and then you'll execute accordingly. And number 4 is meditation. Meditation का मतलब है recall. Recall का मतलब ये होता है कि what you studied, right? What you studied, you will be incorporating in your mind so that you will be memorizing, you will be recalling, you can be recapping, and then it is very very helpful for an execution perspective. And number fifth is key words and key diagrams. इन especially जो है हम आप जो है साइंस में और मैथमेटिक्स में, इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द की वर्ड्स, जैसे कि थीरम्स हो, जैसे कि जो है आपका डायग्राम्स हो साइंस में, तो बेस्ड ऑन विच यू नीड टू नो विच डायग्राम पर्टेन टू व्हाट एंड विच डायग्राम इज टॉकिंग अबाउट विच पार्ट्स ऑफ द डायग्राम, क्योंकि ऐसा भी होता है कि यू विल राइट सम डायग्राम एंड पार्ट्स विद सम अदर, सो इट विल बी नॉट हैव अ कोरिलेशन. व्हाई? बिकॉज द वर्ड्स विच हैव बीन यूज्ड आर द की वर्ड्स which you will forget because of your thought process. So you should be analyzed कि my जो keywords को मैं पकड़ रहा हूँ, that should match with my sentence which I am writing on my exam. So number 6 will be memorizing techniques. Memorizing techniques में ये होता है कि you have 5 steps of methodology. Again, one is you need to read, you need to analyze, understand, analyze and memorize. Again, you need to, the fifth again point will be your output, what you have done as 4 steps, you need to incorporate in the 5th step. So you need to understand that whatever you are reading, you need to be analyzed, because you, without analyzing, if you do whatever probably your actions in subjects, it will not help for long term. So whatever you are mentioning or whatever reading, you should be understand, analyze, memorize and execute. These are steps of memory technique which you need to follow. And number 7th will be your right place, because you need not to be read in front of the TV or in front of your mobile or something, because the mind get diverted. You need to have a concentration, dedication, so that the place makes a tremendous change in the studying environment. So you need to understand that where I need to study and which place is suitable for me to study in a concentration way. And in 8th, you need to start from the toughest part of your subject to the easiest part of the subject. Why? Because you know that easiest part of the subject you can able to manage. So you need to start from the toughest, so that at least 50% of the toughest will be you can able to crack it, and then you move forward for your easiest one. And you need to solve the question paper. I told you, right, you need to break down into 3 parts. One is you need to summarize your chapters, you need to read the chapters questions, and then you need to read the question papers of the previous historical years, so that you will come to know that where you stand. And 9th point will be revision. Very very important, because every person, you think that I know everything, but because of lack of revision, they will forget the main content of your subject. So you need to understand what you're writing. You should have the practice of revision what you have studied. For example, I studied 1 chapter, I'll go for 2nd chapter, but I need to revise the 1st chapter and then go for 2nd chapter. If I go for 3rd chapter, I need to revise 1, 2, again I need to go for 3rd, because it will be there for long term and you can crack any type of questions in the exam. And lastly, you need to recall, because when you recall right in your mind, then you will have that for a long term, and which impact for your final exam. See, all this will be very very important when you have the exam near. It is not like, for example, you have tomorrow, day after tomorrow you have exam and you cannot able to do it. Nothing like that. आप जो है परसों एग्जाम है, तो आज से भी आप प्लानिंग करें, आज से भी आप टाइम को मैनेज करें, आज से आप जो है टीचिंग रीडिंग मेथोडोलॉजी को अपनाएं, तो यू कैन क्रैक more than 80%. But you need to dedicate yourself in a right way to understand the where I am now and what is my dedication and how I can achieve my goal in the perspective of your overall curriculum. And then the simple tricks I'll give, which is how to write an exam. Exam will be classified into 3, where you need to write. For example, you will enter into an exam hall, then you need to observe. Once the supervisor give the question paper, you need to observe what are the questions they have been asked. 15 minutes you need to understand your question. That's called observation. You need to observe. That's number 1. Number 2, imagination. Imagination in the sense, whatever you have in the question paper, you need to analyze that. Can I able to crack? That is number 2. That is very very important. Number 3 is execute. and then you need to write the exam. So very important 3 points. One is your observation, number 2 is your imagination, number 3 will be your execution. These are the 3 ways of writing exam. And one more last what I can say trick which I wanted to give you all is time management. Everywhere there is lack of time, so you need to manage your time in the exam hall. For an example, don't think that I cannot able to complete my whole question paper in given time. Why? Because you can able to do it. How? Number 1, you need to start from the mark based answers. What is the mark based answers? First of all, which are the questions you know the answers, please start from that. It may be your last question of your question paper, you can start from the first. That's not a problem, but that should be perfect. That should be perfect. You need to choose the questions based on your answers which you know as in priority, which can score a lot of marks. Number 2, description. Description, this is I know half of the answer and half of the answer I don't know. So you write half of the answers and another half of the answer, you write the summarize of the same chapter, so that it helps to the evaluator that you are relevantly given the answer. And the last, if you don't know anything, please don't leave as is at the blank paper. Please write some other what I can say summarized way of the answer based on this topic. For an example, I don't know the topic of life process or something, but I can summarize what is life process based on the natural view. For example, I know life process is contains heart, function of kidney, nephron, all these things. I can summarize and I put it across the words, and then I can I can get some of the marks. Instead of 0, I can get 1 marks at least. So don't leave blank in an exam hall. And also there are other 3 types of answers which you need to write. 100% answer, I told you, right? 100% answer is your full-fledged answer, which is mark based. Number 2, your description, which I told it is 50% of the answer you know, 50% of the answer you don't know, but you write this description of the same, and you will manage it. And if you don't know anything, please write the what I can say explanation of the content of the question at least, so that the evaluator will come to know that you are written somewhere where I can give some marks to you. So please, I request you that everyone in the students that please manage your time. Don't be panic, be positive, be energetic, be practical, that I can able to crack the exam with high confidence. And you need to practice your question papers. You will have a lot of model question papers. You have previous year question papers, and also your passing package books. So please read that and revise. And also you self conduct a mock exam, so that you will come to know how much time I took, how I written, how I have been got corrected, how you can self assess, so that before going to an exam you will come to know that how much I prepared myself to enter to a final exam. So thank you for giving the opportunity for talking about this exam tips and tricks. And I thank Babulawaz Media for giving this opportunity. And also I convey for all my students, for everyone, all the best for an exam, and write well, do well, be positive, and score very good marks. And also you can do it, you be positive, and also you will be cracking your exam with good marks, making our community in the top of the world. Thank you everyone. Shukriya. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa